Hey guys, it's Lust back here again with another commentary video. I've gotten requests for a dragon matchup, and it's I've just had it the last week during my shop qualifier. I actually did face a dragon, and it was finals. At that time, I was 5-0 in Swiss, and then I went to top four, top eight, and then top four, and then now this is finals where I faced dragon. This is the fourth dragon I faced that day. Obviously, was playing Ramp Dragon, and I'm gonna go over my match and hope you guys enjoy. Mm-hmm. So here we find that I went first. No, my opponent went first actually. Uh, he just chose to pass, and then I also passed turn one after drawing a card. Now he's at 2 play points, and our opponent draws really well here, I think, because I think right now with Dragon, as long as they see Oracle on 2, they're massively favored against every other deck. And since they only have 3 copies of Dragon Oracle in their 40 card deck, as long as they see Dragon Oracle, I can say that they've drawn decently well. Because like there's only 2 ramp cards in set one of which is Ayala, and Ayala really isn't that good of a card, as it comes on 1 turn later and needs to be proactively traded into, while Oracle is active ramp. So our opponent starts here with Oracle going first. That means that we're going to be down 2 play points for the rest of the game, which means that we're immediately on the back foot here. Especially after passing turn 1. I would have loved to have developed a Teachings of Creation or a Bellringer Angel on turn 1, so that I have more security for my future plays. But on turn 2, you can see that we start off with Crafty Warlock, and since we went second, what I really like to do is I just tempo evolve this Crafty Warlock. It's very important that the going second player has to go ahead and take advantage of their Evo points very quickly, or else they will find themselves quickly out-tempoed by the Dragon player, especially a Dragon player that goes first. Some people might ask, why did I choose to tempo evolve this Crafty Warlock, even though it has a really high chance of getting traded into by let's say a Dragon Warrior evolve from the turn 3 Dragon player. That's because Crafty Warlock, when you evolve it, it gives you 2 stacks instead of 1 stack. So even if it gets cleared immediately on the next turn, I'm still saving myself. I'm still getting more tempo. And let's say it doesn't get immediately cleared next turn, right? I get to use another evolve next turn to potentially push more damage. For example, if he plays like a Ding Dong here, I can tempo evolve a shapeshift, a Demon Flame Mage next turn, and swing with this 3 attack follower, instead of not being able to swing with the 3 attack follower. And you can see here that our opponent does have a copy of Blazing Breath in their hand. And this evolve, making it 3 health, gets it out of the range of the Blazing Breath next turn. Maybe our opponent wanted to play Path to Purgatory into Blazing Breath to clear our follower. But since I tempo evolved, that's no longer an option, right? They're going to take damage. So I decided that to play and then immediately use one of my Evo points to tempo evolve. Now our opponent thinks for a long time. Well, not a decently long time, but like he has a lot of cards in his hand and he's contemplating. He sees that I have a 3/3 on board and he's at 4 while I'm only at 2. And we can see from his hand he has an Execute and he has a Forte. So he was like, he just passes. Okay, so since our opponent passed with 4 up, I'm thinking of some stuff. There's 3 possible cards you can possibly have: Blazing Breath, Serpent's Wrath, and Execute. But the problem is, he's going into my turn 3, and there's not much to execute, so I'm reading a Serpent's Wrath here. But I'm like, there really isn't a way that I can, like, get rid of it, like, fish out the Serpent's Wrath. So I wanted to swing with my Crafty first to see if that would bait the removal, so that, like, I don't have to, like, get my 3-drop hit by a Serpent's Wrath, right? So, and you can see that if I didn't re-evolve here, he would have been able to Blazing this card. So, our opponent here just thinks for a while. He decides to take 3 damage. So I know that like okay, my follower is probably getting removed. So now I have to think, right? What am I supposed to do? I just had to play Merlin. I just decided to play Merlin. I was like, damn, he didn't take the bait. I need to search for my own execute here. You know why? Because my dragon opponent is 2 play points ahead of me. It is very likely that my opponent, in the next few turns, will be able to throw a really big threat at me that I don't have the ability to clear. Earthright doesn't actually have really big removal early until like the Erasmus turn. We have ways to remove multiple small minions via cards like Demon Flame Mage and Mithril Golem, but we don't have a way to remove something big like a turn 6 Lucifer going first when we're only at 5 play points, right? Like that just doesn't feel very good. Or like, let's say he draws the God Hand, he ramps again into the 6/7 Dragon Guard. Like we need a way to remove that, and I don't have Erd in my hand, I think. So that's why this Merlin here, searching the execute, gives me a way to deal with at least the first threat until I reach 7 play points, so we can deal with them efficiently. Because the time that Dragon has the most advantage over Earthright is right when Dragon hits Overflow before Earthright can summon Erasmus. So turn 5, turn 6 is when Dragon can put so much pressure on you that you simply break. So this execution is the hedge against the pressure that it's going to get put on us the next few turns. Obviously, our opponent passed with 4, so they definitely have an answer to something on my board. I don't think my board's living until my turn, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Let's see what our opponent does. Yep, Crafty gets hit by the execute. So he actually, by hitting the Crafty with execute in the end, he actually didn't save himself 3 damage because he thought I would play something like more important on 3, but I like a alchemist or something, but I faked him out and he took 3 damage for no reason, which is very good for us. Obviously, I would have done the same thing. I would have probably taken the 3 damage as well to see if I can potentially execute a better target, but throwing the execute at the Crafty right here is fine. I feel like it's not a bad play. I go ahead and summon a sediment and I put a dice on it because Crafty will summon a sediment and add 1 to an existing stack. So this is 2. Going to the 5 playing point turner Dragon. Dragon doesn't really have a lot of things that are good on 5. For example, they can Shenlong and not Evo, or they can go shapeshifting trade into a follower I have, or play Dragon Guard. My personal favorite turn 5 play is Wyvern Cavalier, but not a lot of people play it. So I think what my opponent does this turn is he Blazings the Merlin and then Fortes my face. I think. I don't quite remember because this was played a while ago. Yeah. Okay. So that's what he does. He Blazings my Merlin and Fortes my face. Okay. Let me explain it here. I think this is definitely a misplay. He says that there's not really a lot of places to like use this Forte, and in this matchup I agree, but this using a Forte unevolved like this against Earthright is very vulnerable to it getting cleared by a random AoE, and he's using 4 damage to basically trade for 5 when I'm the aggressive deck in this matchup, and like hitting I feel like hitting me in the face doesn't matter until the very late game because I would be the one putting up the board. So I would rather have liked to see him blazing my Merlin and then develop something for his own instead of just sending the Forte at my face, because you see now I have a very easy answer to this Forte. I use my Evo point and I just play Demon Flame and then I ward my Bellringer, and that's my perfect turn 4 play. I answer the Merlin, I just evolve the 4/4 and I put a ward in front of it to prevent something like a second Forte and evolving it to swing into me, because then I would actually be in danger of like getting executed by something. So approaching the 6 play point turn of Dragon while we're only at 4, he plays Shenlong. So I think he had that Shenlong last turn. I would have loved to see him play it last turn instead of playing the Forte and simply not ward the Shenlong. But I think he really wanted this 5 healing. He just chooses to discard the Fafnir here. A lot of people think that this is a bad play, but I actually think that Fafnir is not that useful against Earthright. Let me tell you why. Um, so Fafnir is a blanket 5 damage AoE against a lot of boards, and that's very good against like Abyss, Sword, and all. But most of Earthright's important followers are 6 defense. Let me give you a few examples. The evolved Ancient Alchemist that can ping you for a lot of damage face and make golems cost less is a 3/6. Uh, the Runic Guardian with the Earthright effect is a 4/6. Mithril Golem is a 5/6. And Erasmus is a 6/8. Those are like the most important threats that Earthright can give, and all of those will survive a Fafnir. And later on to the game, against Dragon, it is very easy for Earthright to set up a 6 health high, like highly dangerous follower and hide it behind a couple wards. And Fafnir feels extra useless against that because if you play Fafnir, you're spending your entire turn, and then like one of the 6 health followers survive, Fafnir's gonna get cleared next turn by say an Execute or an Erasmus, and then that follower just gets to swing face at you. It just feels really bad. So I feel like dishing the Fafnir is not necessarily a bad play. But not playing the Shenlong on 5 was a bad play because he doesn't get to evolve the Shenlong. He just wards it here. Obviously, in hindsight, like he wouldn't expect that I would just clear the Forte for free. He thought I would have to trade something into it, but as Earthright, we have a lot of free removal. So why not just use it, right? It doesn't have Arua. So I have 5 here, and I think I thought of it a while, and I was thinking how I could play around removal. Because I was like, I think he's trying to bait me into like a removal, like a conflagration or something. And my board currently does all die to removal. So I'm thinking like how I can best play around with the cards he has. So I chose to play a copy of Alchemist Workshop, deal 3 damage, and then I stack for 3 stacks, and then I choose to spend the remaining mana to evolve my Bellringer Angel to keep more cards in hand, so I can, because like I think I'm on the back foot here, because as a going second player into a dragon that has already ramped once, so I need to save as much resources as possible for his burst turns, and he hasn't pathed yet, so he's not very far ahead of us in terms of card advantage, so we have the ability to go 1-for-1 with him and try to exhaust his resources, right? We actually do have more cards in hand right now than him if we count that the Bellringer will draw us a card. And we currently do have board presence going into turn 7. And I would say we are in generally a good position right now. We still have 1 Evo point left, as the only time we only use 2 Evo points, 1 on the Demon Flame and 1 on the Crafty. We paid 2 for this evolve on Bellringer Angel. Because we had 5 play points, we only used 4. We kept up the 1 play point, but we don't actually have any 1 play point quicks. It's very important as the going second player to save your last play point for Ancient Alchemist, because it makes your burst turn 1 turn earlier. So this is very bad for me because the Shapeshifter on 7 play points is a 5/5. And that's not a very like good stat line that I like to face, especially with the Sail and Bane. I would love to have like been able to clear for free, but it seems like he's gonna be able to like swing into my Bellringer or swing into something, and it still lives. So this dragon player thinks about it for a long time. He decides that he's gonna go ahead and Forte my Demon Flame and keep his dragon at a 5/5. Which is decent. I actually like tell people like in the Earthright matchup, you should be using your Forte as a tool to clear the board rather than something to hit face with, because like I said, you're not the aggressive side. I'm supposed to be the aggressive side, right? Trying to be aggressive as a defensive deck will only cause you to lose even more. Here I made a mistake because I thought that my opponent's Shapeshifter was a 2/2, so this Demon Flame could clear it. So and then I tried to take it back, but then I realized something. The easiest way to clear this Shapeshifter is actually just with the Demon Flame. I looked at my hand and was like, I really don't want to execute this, because I'm reading like a Fafnir or Lucifer next turn. I can't use this execute. So I'm going to have to Demon Flame this. And it's like turn 6 for me right now, 1 turn before Erasmus comes out, so it's like really awkward for me. So yeah, I decided to actually just Evo in the end. And then I think I put up a 4/6. No. I set up my Ancient Alchemist win condition. Because I was thinking, like, I think I had 2 Ancient Alchemists in hand at the time, and I really wanted, like, to put some pressure on the board. So using one of them is fine. I'm basically saying that if you don't remove this, I'm going to threaten a lot of health next turn. So, like, putting up, like, basically a taunt. My opponent, Dragon Warrior, goes to draw here. And then, so he uses his last shapeshifting to clear the Alchemist. It's a bummer, but nothing you can do. Going into our Erasmus turn now, it's a lot easier to remove followers like this. I will just Erasmus, take care of it, and Erasmus being a 6/8 and my opponent already running out of all his shapeshifting evos, it's actually extremely hard to clear this card as Dragon, because number 1, it doesn't take any damage from no combat. Number 2, I didn't engage it. And now with no shapeshifters, how is he removing this Erasmus? I really don't get it. Yeah, he can't. He simply cannot. There is just nothing here. Like, the only card in his deck that would clear it was the Execute. And he used it. He used it on my Crafty Warlock, right? So our Erasmus is going to get to live 1 turn, and this is going to be where we win the game here, because when Erasmus lives 1 turn, we get so much free value, and we get to establish wards behind Erasmus to protect him, to further protect him from things like AoEs or like single target big damage. So even if we engage him, he won't get cleared. So my opponent Shenlongs to heal, and then develops a Bellringer Angel and passes. Now we are very much in the lead now because we have a 6/8 win condition on the field. All we need to do is protect him well. I decide to Teachings of Creation to put ourselves up to 2 Earthright, 2 Earth Sigils. Use Erasmus's effect to ping out the Shenlong. And then trade into the Golem for free, stacking in the process. So I still have 5 play points. I decide to develop a 4/6. Like I said, the 6 health threshold against Dragon is very important. If I can develop 2 of them, it's going to be impossible for Dragon to clear this board. And I know up to this point, I already won the game. Because no matter what my Dragon opponent does, it's impossible to clear 2 things with 6 health. It's just not within the Dragon arsenal, especially after they ran out of their shapeshifting mages. There's not a single card in this deck that can save him right now. I think my opponent decides to play a Conflag or a Fafnir right now. And just blanket nuke my board for 5, but that's already too late. Because the cards that will survive on board is already too much. Yep. My opponent Fafnirs. This is going to be at 1, and that's going to be at 3. And then my opponent's at 14 health. I see that I have 10 damage on field, and I think I have a Merlin or an Alchemist in my hand, and that's all gets game, assuming that he doesn't have like a Blazing Breath. And he shows me that he doesn't have it because he takes the damage. So now we spend 3 on the Alchemist. We spend 2 in an Evo point to Evo this Alchemist. And we play 2 Golems and point both damage at his face. It's his first time seeing this card. He reads it, and he sees that it can deal damage to leaders, and he concedes. And that is the end of the game. So, going back to analyze this game, I think there are a few points where the Dragon made a critical mistake, such that even though he went first into this matchup and also had Oracle on 2, which is your best possible opener, he still lost. The first mistake here is eating this 3 damage from Crafty Warlock because on turn 4, on turn 3 versus Earthright without an Earth Sigil on field, it's really hard for Earthright to develop anything. I would have probably just executed this Crafty Warlock. The most dangerous thing you could face next turn is a Runic Guardian that's a 4/6, but at this point you would have already had 5 play points, and with 5 play points, it's a lot easier for Dragon to set up stuff to defend against that, such as Shapeshifting Evo or Shenlong. And then what he did on turn 5, the Blazing Breath into Forte, instead of developing a Shenlong, I also think is incorrect. I think this was the biggest mistake of the match. I think going for this 5 damage when you're the aggressor, when you're not the aggressor, is very wrong. Maybe this is the correct game plan against Dimension Shift, but definitely not against Earthright. And then the Shenlong on 6, not using your entire play point, and just warding the Shenlong in general. If I Shenlonged on 6, I probably wouldn't ward it. I would demand my opponent to use removal on it, so or else I threaten to heal back the damage they do next turn. And then using all of the shapeshifting evos before Erasmus makes it very hard for your opponent, for you to clear the Erasmus. So I probably wouldn't have done that either. I probably would have looked for alternative methods of removal, or even just not remove it in general, just to save the shapeshifter for more important targets, such as the Arc Summoner Erasmus that you know is coming up on turn 7 in the T-shift in the dirt matchup. And that's all. Once again, huge shout outs to Next Level Gaming, or Next Level Games, located in Brooklyn, New York. They have their championship showdown on Thursday. I hope you check them out. Huge shout outs to Dank Ritual. They sponsor me with playmats and deck boxes. I hope you check them out. They're pretty good. And last but not least, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, comment any question you have, and tell me what you want to see next. Yep, thank you very much. Have a great day.